What's up? I see the rain, no rain question already in here. We might focus. Do people want good morning? Wait, oh, sociology's in here. Sociology 119. I know those people. 80 people in the waiting room today. Let's go. Oh, it's because I had mentioned it during class. Sociology, is that who I think it is? Let's just check this out, and then we're going to get serious right here. What are they? Oh, man. It's the Penn State people, right? If people don't know, shout outs to this professor. Sociology 119 does a lot of interesting stuff. It definitely goes different things than I do in my class, but another university, another professor doing their thing. But Sociology 119 jumping in the chat. So shout outs to them doing their thing. We love that people are using the YouTube platform. Megan, good to see you there. Megan, email me on that and I'll make sure to look it over. So Megan, let me know. I can go through the records and I can check that stuff out for you right there. Sociology 119 giving us a shout out in the chat. So huge thank you to them. And yeah, well, that's awesome. Okay, so I think the first thing we're going to do, let's take a vote. How many people do we still have here? How many people did we retain from class? So what should we do? Yeah. My Pearson or data analytics. Now, we do what you want. I think there's a My Pearson do tonight. Going to hear the main screen. Sociology 119, where you at? Where you at? We must have like appeared in their like YouTube feed, and then they're like, "What is going on? Why is there so many people waiting on this stream?" Because we got to advertise, got to promote. So we'll see what people say. It's a 50-50 vote. Is the data analytics due? When is that due? It's due till the weekend, right? It's not due urgently, right? Canvas content. We could do, actually, you know what? Canvas content, let me reappear. Canvas content might be the easiest and quickest thing to do. Like Canvas content, it's due Friday. We might hold off on that a little bit because we got more time. And people usually do the most pressing thing. Not that any of us would ever wait to do their reading for their PhD class till the night it's due tomorrow. I'll do it. I'll work out and listen to cool qualitative research. Okay. And so with this in mind, let's look over I think it's Canvas content to do also right now. If I think we're going to do Canvas content, Megan, I think if that's due, which I think it probably is, that's pretty fun. Let's do Canvas content to start. How's that sound? Let's do Canvas content. Does that sound like a good plan to everybody? We'll do Canvas content, and then we'll hop over and do Pearson. I think I might still have the Kahoot music playing in the background, so excuse me for that. Okay. So here we are with Canvas content. That's the wrong video. Live stream. Office hours. Edit video. I got close to 6,000 subs, and then I lost it. Okay. Not everyone wants to learn stats. Can't get all the subs. Okay, so we are here at 413 and stat 201 Canvas content number 3. Let's go do it. Now, why do we do the Canvas contents? Does anyone know why we do the Canvas contents? Because they look a lot like the what? You want to know what this looks like? The Canvas contents look a lot like these. The Canvas contents look a lot like the what? No one reason to know, because people say, "Yep, Louis said it right there." Good to see you, Louis. And Louis, more shout outs. I'll tell you more if you want. But Louis, shout outs in the chat. Good to see you. Person we talked about remembered from asking a question. They're like, "I know that person." So shout out to you right there. So Louis, and good meeting you, Louis. Always swing by the in-person. There's no in-person officer. And Zariah in the chat too. Met so many students. Good to see you all here. So this looks like the test. Number one way to know what the test looks like. And the first question asks, box plots are not ideal. They are posted. Yep. Everything's posted and recorded for you to see later. Box plots are not ideal for comparing multiple groups. And this says box plots plural. So when you think about box plots, we're talking about side-by-side box plots, which are located right here. Notice that there's a categorical X variable and a quantitative Y. And we could do something like this. Now, which of these tests would you rather take? Test A, B, or C? So which of these tests would you rather take? A, B, or C? Which of these tests would you rather take? A, B, or C? Which of these tests would you rather take? A, B, or C? Now look, you've got multiple groups. I'd rather take C2 also. I'd be like, oh, let's go with that test C. You've got multiple groups and you're making comparisons. You've got different groups, you're making comparisons. You're like, well, obviously C's higher on average, or the median, because box plots show the median, the 5 numbers summary, and all that good jazz. You could also see some outliers, like there could be an outlier there, there could be an outlier there. Outliers are more than 1.5 IQRs above Q3 or Q1, which are the top and the bottom of the box, Q3 respectively and Q1 respectively for that box. And you can do comparisons with these. So this is false. They are ideal. So the not should not be there. Outliers, and we just said it, what's the magic number for the amount of IQRs above Q3 or below Q1? The magic number for box plots for how far outliers begin or start is they are this many IQRs above Q3. So if you go to the box, and which is Q3 at the top and Q1 at the bottom, I don't know why I like drawing right there behind my head. The median does not need to be perfectly in the middle because the data could be skewed. You would go exactly 1.5, yep. And you would mathematically do this, and this creates the fence, which is as far as the whisker can go. The whiskers can go down to the fence, and this is 1.5, we could write it 1.5 IQRs above Q3, so it's Q3 plus 1.5 IQRs. And then this right here, this distance, is 1.5 IQRs below Q1, so Q1 minus that. And you could have like a short whisker because there might not be any data there, or you could have a long whisker that goes up to this. And things that are outside of this would be outliers. So you could have random outliers outside of it. You no longer see the fences after creating a box plot. They are just a graphical technique to tell you where outliers begin and end. So the final creation of a box plot does not, and these aren't standard deviations, these are IQRs, 1.5 interquartile ranges. The interquartile range is viewed visually here by the what of the what. So try finishing my sentence. The interquartile range can be seen here visually as the what. The interquartile range can be seen here visually as the what of the what. I've drawn it for you visually, and you would literally go up 1.5 of these, and that's where the fence is at, and then 1.5 of these. That might not be perfectly, but an IQR is the what of the what. Here's a better hint. The IQR is the what of the what. So the IQR is the what of the what. The IQR can be seen visually. Like if this were to go from 10 to 14, it can be found Q3 minus Q1. It's the length of the box. The length, how long is the box? Because the box goes from Q3 to Q1, and the IQR mathematically is Q3 minus Q1. So the length of the box. Does that make sense? So in this question, we like to go more in depth. It's 1.5. That's where it is. Below is a contingency table, the visualization of 2 categorical variables. And what do we see right here? What percent were neutral about the chocolate they tried? Type M or C. Is this a marginal or conditional? And we'll review marginal and conditional. So is this a marginal or conditional question? What percent were neutral? Like out of everybody, what percent were neutral? So type M for marginal or C for conditional. Is this a marginal or conditional question? We'll do one more version. Is it a marginal or conditional question? What do you think? Is it marginal or conditional? Marginal or conditional? What is it? Is it marginal or conditional? What percent were neutral? Wesley, good guess. We're throwing you some points. Remember, you get points here for just answering. It is marginal, though. The reason is when we ask what percent were neutral, what we're looking at here is we're looking at, of everybody, what percent were neutral, and where does this appear? The answer is in the margin. A conditional question would be, of the people who are neutral, what percent tried dark chocolate? It's only asking about one variable. Exactly, Megan. Marginal just looks at one variable in the margins. And Wesley, good answers, good practice. That's why we're here to practice. So what percent were neutral would just be 229 out of 992. So it's just out of everybody, what percent were neutral? And you just go 229 divided by 992. And there's the answer. And then it says to round and to report it as a decimal. I think report it like this. I think we have a plus or minus. Let's just test it out the hard way. And then what percent of Marvel superheroes? So what does this sound like to you? So it says what percent of Marvel superheroes. So that's of the Marvel superheroes, what percent have the ability to fly? So of the Marvel superheroes. So what does that sound, M or C? Because now it's, what is it? It's of the Marvel superheroes, only considering those, what percent have the ability to fly of the Marvel superheroes? This is conditional. Exactly. This is conditional because it's setting a condition of the Marvel superheroes, what percent can fly. So 115 divided by 794. That's not a 9. There you go. And that's got a 115 out of 794. And there's the answer, times by 100. Don't worry about rounding because I swear there is nice. Oh, we got one more question. What is the probability of a student being born in Tennessee? Ready? Practice. M or C? Is it in the margins or is it setting a condition? What is the probability of a student being born in Tennessee? Is that one variable or two variables we have to talk about? So if it's marginal, it's just like one of these questions in the margins. And it's conditional. It's only marginal though. It's only marginal. Good practice. It's marginal, and let's see why. Because it doesn't ask about the other one, honors. Do you notice how the two variables here, and good practice in the chat, the two variables are honors and born in Tennessee, and we only see the idea of the student being born in Tennessee. Yours might be different. Like, what is the probability of an honors student being born in Tennessee? Or what is the probability of a student being born in Tennessee being an honors student? So this would only be the one variable, which means we're only going to look at the margin right here. And so the probability of a student being born in Tennessee is going to be 574. And then yours, Louis, might be different. Exactly. So be careful. Good eye right there. My question is, what is the probability of a student born in Tennessee being an honors student? So yours would be the probability of a student born in Tennessee being an honors student is going to be this. So yours is conditional because there are different versions. Good answer. Good question. So the probability of a student being born in Tennessee being an honors student. So if they're born in Tennessee, yes. What's the probability of honors? Yes. Does that make sense for yours, Louis? So this is Louis on the screen right here. But yours is conditional because it's what's the probability of someone being born in Tennessee being an honors student. So that sets the condition born in Tennessee, yes. And 574 and 923 for mine. So yeah, good jerk. I was like, you got this. There we go. Times by, now it wants a percentage. Pretty sure we have a lot of rounding on these. I'm just not rounding because I don't want to.
It doesn't matter.
Look at that. Okay, let's do one more version and hopefully people get a lot of hundreds on this. Okay, there's sometimes a good reason to remove outliers. True or false? Just type T or F in the chat. Like, we've had students report they drink 10 days a week. We've had students report they're 75 inches tall and weigh 75 pounds. There is sometimes, very true, yeah, if it's fake data, if you want to correct it first, usually the best thing to do is correct outliers, check the original data. Sometimes a good reason. 75th percentile is also known as Q what? 75th percentile is known as Q what? Because think of how many quarters would be 75 cents. 75th percentile is also known as what? Great job, Justin, in the chat. Q3. Q3 is the top of the box. And it says for the French team. So for the French team, Q3 is very clearly 190. Does everyone see how we got that right there? So Q3 is the top of the box. It's the upper 25%. And so that is Q3, the top of the box. And it is 190. Probability of student born in Tennessee, we just did this one. It's still on the calculator. Good to go. Probability Marvel superhero can fly, we did this one earlier. It's the flight 115. We got Invincible on here. And I think we have that it accepts the decimals too. What percent were neutral? We did this one earlier too. Does anyone have 100 or not have 100 right now? We should have a lot of hundreds. I think it accepts decimals. I've corrected a lot of these so that there's multiple answers acceptable. Even though it says put it in this format, that helps us with grading it. Because if we accept anything, it's very hard to make these so they grade right. That's false. 190. Hopefully we have a lot of hundreds. What is the probability of student being born in Tennessee? So we have the 574 out of the 3. What is the probability of a student born in Tennessee being an honors student? We showed this one earlier. So it's the probability of a student born in Tennessee, which sets the condition. And we'll start doing some Pearson after this. Student born in Tennessee being an honors student is that. So 50 out of 574. And there's that. Should accept it. And then neutral again. There we go. People got those hundreds in the chat. Hopefully you got those hundreds. Get those hundos. And let's go over here to work on assignments. Now, anyone want to do my Pearson? Who's got a my Pearson question up and ready right now? Anyone got a my Pearson question up and ready? We just did the Canvas content. We spent only 11 minutes on it, but we did 3 versions of it. There's not too many other questions, I think. Check them out. You should get hundreds. I like when people get hundreds on these Canvas contents. We also go through it more slowly. Sure, grammar. We go through it slowly at the start, and then we go faster because we've done so many versions of it. What do people say? There's only so many my Pearson questions for Chapter 3. Drop on my Pearson questions. Preferably, yes. Yes, they should. Good question, Wesley. Preferably, you're going to put histograms with the same axes. Do I have Chapter 3 up still? There's Chapter 4. That's understanding comparing distributions. Yep. You want to do generally the same axes, same horizontal and vertical. Horizontal is true. Vertical is true. The better the comparisons are, the easier it is to understand what's going on. You want to give them the same axes, which I don't think these do. That's removing outliers. Okay, what Pearson questions should we do? Who has a my Pearson question? Is it time for the rain, no rain one? The classic rain, no rain? Drop a my Pearson question in, or I'll just start doing them. Drop in those my Pearsons. Or if everyone starts saying data analytics, we could do data analytics. It's our time here. And you get to pick what we do. Let's see what people pick. What question should we do? Pick a my Pearson question, or if people starts data. Oh, one person with data analytics. Should we do it? Oh, well, no votes against. So it looks like it might be time for data analytics. Okay, we're gonna hop over to some data analytics. Number 3. Okay, and I do have. If you are looking for my Pearson question, I do have videos on all of them. The data analytics sometimes get updated, so that's updated. I'll say that much. There's better. Okay. So the number one thing, let's start writing the notes on this. When doing a data analytics assignment, what do we always look at first? When doing a data analytics assignment, what do we look at first? The rubric. So let's go look at the rubric right here, see how points are given. Remember, the graders are going to click through this. So always look at the rubric right here and see what's going on. First thing to do is put your info in there. The second thing to do is turn in the right files. Once again, we're probably turning in our Excel file and our Word file. Usually we have you turn in those right there. So we go look at the checklist for final submission. So the Word document and Excel files. So make sure you turn in the right files right there. You need to turn in, and here you can see what you need. The Word document's going to have all your info at the top. The screenshot of the segmented bar chart, the screenshot of the side-by-side box plot, written interpretation for each visualization, and AI reflection. So really, it's not that bad right there. It's not that bad. But when you're looking at this, make sure where it says like your random sample taken, you took a random sample. Your segmented bar chart visualization. Look at where you can lose points. The screenshot is of the entire screen, showing more than the requested output. Image taken is with an external camera. We've seen that, like people use their phones and stuff. Screenshot of the visualization has issues with not having appropriate elements, like that right there. So you can run into issues, and then you have the interpretations. So really, all you're doing is taking a random sample, making 2 graphics. Okay. Put up the Brian is doing work, but not quite your work. Okay. So you are working with the bike data right here. So here's the bicycle data. Let me close real quick, make sure. I think sometimes I look at files. Okay. Like as in, I have, well, see, it's like all these files right here. Book 1, I don't know what book 1 is. Data analytics 2, that's what we're working with. Student 2010. Let me open them down again here because that's good stuff. Okay, student, there we go. Here we go. Wait, that's the diamond file. You can see on there. Okay, cool. This is not the data you're working with. This is not the data you're working with. Once again, warning message on the screen. I like to use different files for this. This is not the data you're working with, so I don't want you to do exactly what I do, but you're basically doing what I'm doing. Now, the first thing you want to do is open up a Word document. So let's say, getting started here. We're going to put a note, getting started. Okay, with getting started, make sure you've got the bike data. That's the data you're using for this one this semester. And also make sure you open up a Word document, and inside that Word document, you put the important info. As in, right here, you're going to take this info, make it your own, make sure to put your actual info in there. And you'll put your name, your email, and we're the YouTube section. If you call it YouTube section, we're good. And your professor, I am just Brian Stevens, Professor Brian Stevens, or just Brian Stevens. So with this in mind right now, you've got your Word document, and now we need to go over to our Excel. So with this right here, this is Data Analytics 2 file. I'm going to use this one. Once again, don't copy exactly what I'm doing. You're using the bike data, the one posted for you. We need to take a random sample of how much. So getting started / random sample. All right, our random sample is going to be how much? 100 rows. So here's how we take a random sample. To take a random sample, we are simply going to type into the random number segment equals rand. And under equals rand, we're going to go here and double click it. Now we're going to close it off with the parentheses. Next, we're going to click the cell and double click the bottom. Now you're going to click Control C to copy, or Command C on a Mac. Once you've done this, right click and paste special, and you should see this right here, paste values. So we've pasted special, and now the values are locked. It can also be found after you paste. You're pasting the values. It should be paste values, and the values should be locked now. Notice they're no longer changing because they're no longer a formula. The steps, once again, are equals rand. Double click it. Close it so it becomes a function. Click enter. Now, click the cell and double click the little bottom part. Click Control or Command C with all the data currently selected. If you've unselected it, you can select the column and click Control C or Command C. Now, click Control V or right click Paste. Well, when you paste, because when we paste, see, I didn't get the option, we want to make sure we go to Paste Special and paste the values. That's very important because the values make it so they don't change anymore. Notice it is no longer a formula. Now that you have the values pasted, we're going to go under Data and go to Sort Big to Small. Click OK. And there you are. There's your random sample. And we're going to take the 101 rows. Click over here on the left. Next, scroll down and then hold Shift and click 101. Now hit Control C or Command C, and then go over to your random sample sheet, go to the very top, and hit Control V or Command V. And there we are. We've now done it. Our random sample has been achieved. And if you scroll down, notice how the header stays. You can show that you have 101 rows. Now, the reason it's 101, not 100, is because the first row has the information. On a random sample, it has 4 columns on the data, but the original data has like 10. Yeah, good question. So what I would do is I would just delete out those columns you don't need. Here's the DA3 file. See, yours has this demand weather. So actually, I will show that. No remove. You could keep them technically. Enable editing. That's not good. Demand week. Let me screenshot this. What I would do, because you don't need it. What I would do is I'd go over here. We need week part. Weather's the next one. Where's weather? There's weather. So I'm holding shift and I'm deleting. And then high walk-up demand is the last one, right? High walk-up demand. There it is. And then we'll go delete here. So I think that's got it. That should do it, right? And then make sure to take your random numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That should, and then, oh wait, did I delete demand? Wait, demand's on the far side? High walk-up demand, that's what it is. Yeah. Does that make sense there, Louis? So that should do it right there. I would just delete them out. It makes it easier. That's, yeah. Yeah, just delete them off. And then just copy them into the sheet. And then we can see, we're just going to make sure you have the 101 right there. And that kind of helps with students seeing that we need 101. Good questions. I like it. Okay, so that's the random sample. We got our random sample. Now we need to make a segmented bar chart. We're going to stack this up. Last week's data analytic, I had 50 rows selected all the way down to row 51, but when I made the table for this fixed mean median, the count side had only 49. There might have been a missingness or something. Wesley, send me it and I'll take a look. I'll have to take a look at it and see what happened. Or send me an email and say, hey Brian, look over my data analytics. I gotta wake up. I need that third cup of coffee. I need that third cup. Don't want it. I need it. Okay. Stat 201. Data analytics 3. Stacked or segmented bar charts. What kind of variables do you need for stacked or segmented bar charts? Hence why we're doing this now. Chapter 3. What kind of variables do you need for stacked or segmented bar charts? What kind of variables do you need for stacked or segmented bar charts? Look in here. What kind of variables do you need for stacked or segmented bar charts? For stacked or segmented bar charts, you need what? Bivariate categorical. Great job, Megan, right there. I'll show you some points. Need bivariate categorical, stacked, or segmented bar charts, 2 categorical variables. So we're going to do it with a pivot table right here. You're going to use the high walkup demand and count of ID, which are 2 variables. You're using weak part and high walkup demand, count of IDs and values. Pretty sure it doesn't matter which one you use right there, but we'll show that. So let's show how to do this with different variables. Once again, you should get something that looks like this. Did we actually create almost identical? And lets you know what it should look like. So let's go make ours. Okay, so here is my random data. This is going to be rather interesting because some of these have a lot of values. Probably going to use like clarity and color category right there. To make a pivot table, do the following. Click inside of the data. Click Control A. Now that you've selected the data with Control or Command A, go to Insert Pivot Table. Insert Pivot Table. Now go ahead and click OK. You are then going to choose your 2 variables, which it says in the instructions, and put the variables it asks you to in the rows, and there's your variable, and in the columns, there's your variables. And you can see rows in the columns down here. Stacked or segmented bar charts require 2 categorical variables. So I'm going to go right here and put my 2 categorical variables. Now it says to put ID, but truthfully, this is kind of neat. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. Notice how the counts are like that. And if I drop price, the counts are like this. Don't do that. That's price a quantitative variable. I'm pretty sure if you choose any categorical variable, it's going to do it. So you can even choose the same variable and notice the numbers aren't changing. It just has to be a categorical variable and it does the counts of the individuals in that group. I don't think identifier, no, because that's a quantitative variable. So really the truth is if you put like cut here, it does the same 123.7. And if you grab the same variable over here, what's really going to matter are going to be the rows and the columns. My stacked segmented bar chart is going to look a little bit more interesting than yours, a lot more groups probably. So now we have a pivot table. So you should see something like this. Really matters what you have in rows and columns, and you can do what it says for the values, but you should see the counts of the observations right there. Now, go to pivot chart. We are going to choose the stacked bar chart, and I think it wants the ones that are even like this across. Let's double check. There's the instructions, and notice it's out of 100%. So it wants this option right here, which is out of 100%. Let's go ahead and click OK. There is our stacked or segmented bar chart. With this done, we can remove there, and we can go over here to the Design tab, and under the Design tab, go to Quick Layout and select this one. And actually, I don't think they're putting the table below it, so let's not do that. Notice, oh, they do have the table. Okay, let's go around the table. My table's a lot going on here, a lot going on right there. And we need to expand this now. And then we are going to go here and we are going to add in the counts on the data, which we go to Add Chart Element, Data Labels, and we're going to put in the center. That's good. And we could probably click the data labels and we can change the color of these under Home. I wish it had done white data labels to begin with, a little easier to see. And we're just clicking them and changing to white. I don't know why. Oh, no, that's the inside of the box. I want to go to there. There we go. That one is very hard to see. And so we're just making this a little bit nicer. You can also make them bigger. We might be able to hold Shift and select. I'm gonna have to do it individually. So you have to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can actually move it, I think, slightly too. You're like, I can't really see that. There we go. There's the 1. That's better. Okay, so pretty easy to read now, and we've got our data looking good. We need to add a title down here on the bottom. Once again, click the chart, go to design, add chart element, axis title, primary, horizontal, and we can start labeling things like percent of diamonds, because we're looking at diamonds just data set. And this would be color clarity or something. And then over here we can do clarity and color of diamond stacked bar chart by Brian Stevens. There we go. Are people getting theirs done? Do people have are they getting further? And if we want, we can just grab this and bring it a little further down there. Are people getting their graphic done? And then you want to take a nice screenshot of it. You want to go over here, take your good screenshot. But I feel like people should be able to get something pretty decent. Look at that. Look at that. And there is our beautiful screenshot of our stacked segmented bar chart. How are people doing? Louis, Megan, Wesley doing pretty good. Do you have your stacked segmented bar chart looking something like this? Yours will have less categories than mine. So yours will have way less groups. It'll be easier to analyze. Oh, you need that coffee. Need coffee. We'll analyze this here shortly, but that is our stacked segmented bar chart with access titles, chart titles, data table, labels. I think it's towards the end of task 2. That's a stacked bar chart. We'll interpret it here shortly. Is the later task to interpret it? Task 2, do you see a relationship? So we need to interpret this now, so we haven't interpreted it yet. Okay, so let's interpret this. Do I see a relationship? Use the row percentages and visual patterns to determine reference levels of each variable and how the segments don't differ. Okay. So yeah, there's their interpretation. So let's go right here and write the interpretation, right? So this is how I'd write my interpretation. So let's do right here 3253, stat 1, data analytics 3, interpreting the bar chart. Stacked bar chart. That's what it is. So if you notice right here, I think there's a small relationship because out of the 46 rare white, 23%, which is 50%, were minor. Does that make sense? Because you see how 23 out of 46, that would be a row percentage. 23 out of 46 is 50%. Compare that to the slightly tinted white, where 4 out of the 15, only 26%. So you notice this 4 right here, that's 26% compared to the 50% over here. So clearly the rare white has the highest percentage of minor. Also, we see much higher percentages of, and let's look over here, noticeable within the slightly tinted white and the white. For the slightly tinted white, noticeable occurred 53% of the time. That was 8 divided by 15. I'm just going, who understands what I'm doing by doing these percentages? These are conditional distributions, and I see that there's a slightly higher percentage when you look at, for the slightly tinted white, 8 out of the 15, and for the, you can go to the other one, for the white, 8 out of 13. And that's where I'm getting these percentages. And that's over 50%. That's like 60 something percent right there. So 8 out of the 13, and you can tell this because that's the large blue group here. Compare that to the smaller group up there, where only 15 out of the 46, which is like 38%, 32, 33 rather, rounded up. So you can see that's like a third. But who's following me right here? That'd be, you have to quote these percentages. And I'd say I see somewhat of a relationship where the rare white has higher percentages of minor and lower percentages of noticeable, quoting those percentages that I found right here, where the slightly tinted white and white have higher percentages of noticeable, 8 out of, we'd quote the numbers, Does that make sense? You need to quote the numbers. Quote the numbers. Give the mathematical numbers. You need to find them. Math through them. Make sure in your report, though, when you show the image, you show this. I'm not going to write it up below, but you're just finding the percentages. How does that sound right there? Write the percentages, mention the row values, find those values. Find those values. Good stuff right there. Okay. I think it's time for the next task. One more graphic, one more interpretation, we're good to go. Okay, weather and demand. Side-by-side box plots. Okay, this one can get a little iffy on a Mac, so watch out. I think you have to have... There's a finicky thing. If someone's on a Mac and it doesn't work, let me know. But you're going to do high walk-up and demand. What you want to do is, I believe the best way to do this is to have the two columns next to each other. I'm using all the data right here, but I think if you go and you just open a new sheet with your data, put it in a new sheet real quick, and then delete the columns between, and then select the two columns by holding Shift. To delete columns, you can just select a column and delete. You can select a column and delete. And then if you select the two columns by holding Shift, you're going to... I know I'm using the real data here for once. Oh, wait. We didn't put the timestamp. 2 seconds. 35, 53. Side by side. So you should select the two columns and then go to Insert. And then it's found underneath this right here, the histograms, so it's quantitative, and you've got box and whisker. And it's mad. It's mad. It's big mad. There's one on the other side of it. This one can be a little finicky. Let's put it over there. And go to Insert. So I think it wants the variable on the left to be the categories, and the variable on the right to be the quantitative. So it's a little. It's got preferences. You can also use ChatGPT once again to do these types of things. If you take ChatGPT right here and upload this file, it should be able to turn it into a box plot pretty good and make it look amazing. And we also should accept that because we do accept work with AI. If your instructor doesn't say, I accept it. Say Brian accepts it. It's how to make a graphic. But how are people doing on making this side-by-side box plot? We can test our theory about how this works by going back to the Data Analytics 2 file. And that's a different Data Analytics file. Go to Data Analytics 2, go to our random sample sheet. So theoretically, we should be able to take this variable right here, hold Shift, and go to Insert, side-by-side box plots, and there we go. That's the access. Is that there should be more groups. There we go. I was about to say there should be more groups. But here we are, side-by-side box plot. Side-by-side box plot. How are people doing on this? From now, or from here, should be, why can't we do a color variable? There should be a color aspect to this. It'd be nice. Change chart type? Well, nah. It should allow you to go by group. You can individually do each group if you wanted, which would be annoying. But it's probably good enough for now. Make sure to add in your chart title, chart labels, and all those things. Price, we'll go here, add chart element, axis titles, primary horizontal, primary vertical, and data labels, add in the data labels. Oof, oof. And it will do all the outliers. That's kind of annoying. More data label options. I wish it only did the 5-number summary. It can add in a lot of values and you can delete them out sometimes, but it labels the outliers and you get that right there. So it is labeling a lot of values. And do we say label the values? I think we usually say that. So I'm going to look. Yes, there it is right there. I'm almost against us using the label the values because my chart looks crazy. Yours won't look as crazy when you go to the label the values. If you look right here, it's got a few outliers. And I think on ours, in the example, we got it to color the graphics. So if it doesn't do that, that's okay. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't color it. I wish it would. Well, you can do it by clicking, and then, like I said, clicking the 1. You gonna do it? Fill. Series demand. No. Well, it's not that big of a deal if it's not 2 different colors. And then add chart element. And then we go right here to data labels and find something that looks good to the right of it. That's good enough right there. Make these numbers a little bit smaller. Go here to home. Oh, just that one number, really? Really? That's what I dislike about this one. I dislike a little bit about how... I might seriously go in here and like delete out values I don't care about. Yeah. I don't need to see every outlier. I don't, they're all cluttering it up. If I'm going to turn this graphic in, what do the lines with the X through it mean? That is the mean. Good question. Some box plots show you the mean. Megan, thank you for asking. That is the mean of the data. So you can tell some slight skew, like the mean is slightly higher, indicating a little bit of right skew. The mean is closer to the median, indicating a more symmetric, but there's still high outliers on this distribution. And make sure to add in those chart elements. Very important right here to add in your axis title right here, and then make it look all nice and pretty right here. So you'd want to go and figure out good sizing, good options for it, and then call it like, this is demand, right? So we'd enter in demand. I'm a little bit doing your assignment right now. Demand, and this is high walk-up day. And then here, demand compared, or demand by high walk-up day. Oh my God, what did we do there? Prepared by Brian Stevens. I don't even know how to spell my own name. It's a problem these days. And so that's pretty good right there. Good looking graphic. What do you think? Who's in the chat and what do you think? So kind of did the work a little bit here. And I guess one other thing, you might actually change the decimals. It's the mean where the problem is at. We should be able to change the really? No, I can just manually do it probably. Is it not going to let me do decimal change? Can I not change that? It's like calculate value that I can't change. It's a lot of work to delete some decimals. It's a lot of work. That's way too much work just to delete some decimals. Number. General. Number. Decimals 2. Look at that. Finally. I want to go to 1 decimal. All that work to delete decimals. Number. 1 decimal. It's fine. 0 decimals. Why not 0 decimals? It's not doing it. Oh, it did. That's fine. And that's the one. I don't care. 0 decimals. It's close enough. So this looks, in my opinion, why is that number not deleted? Delete. Oh, what's it doing? Well, it's not going to delete that one. Sure. You stay around for another day, number. But I would say this looks a lot better. I wish some of the labels... It's hard to make perfect graphics in Excel. Excel is not a visualization software by nature. It's kind of a do-everything workbook, program. It's all right. It's why we teach it. It's very ubiquitous. But that has got it. So now we got a nice, neat side-by-side box plots. There we go. Nice graphics. And so we need to interpret this. When we do this right here, let's write the interpretation portion in. So 4503. Data analytics. Interpreting the box plots. So when we think about this, we'd want to compare the medians. So talk about the values of the medians. We'd want to compare the spreads. It goes from this to this. Here's the range of the data. We'd want to compare the IQRs. This one has a bigger or smaller IQR. So think about this. You're comparing shape, center, spread. There's a little bit more outliers to this one. It all depends how your data looks. It's how you'll interpret it. How do the side-by-side box plots compare across the two categories? How do they differ based on weather? Was it weather you're doing? Maybe I did. You might have done weather. Oh, look, you're doing weather, is it? Yeah, you're doing create create two new columns, demand on rain. Oh, demand on no rain. Ooh. So let's do mine worked. We should accept this. But yes, there's more. This graphic, and I'm going to tell Terry I did it this way so he can put it in his grading meeting. A grading meeting. We have grading meetings to help the graders. But another way to make the side-by-side box plots. Here's another way to make the side-by-side box plots. It's just there's a lot of ways to get to the end goal. Another way to make your side-by-side box plots is the following, and it's a little more annoying, hence why I didn't do it. Notice we have high walk-up demand here. So you want to make a new column called high walk-up no, or say a high walk no, and another column called high walk yes. So you have your two new columns for high walk yes, and you're doing weather. I just want to make that clear once again, you're doing weather. So you'll make your two new columns based on your variable, and you have variable no and variable yes right here. You could also probably just call it no and yes, whatever you want. And with this, you're going to go and sort the data up here for the high walk-up demand. And once again, you're doing weather. Remember that for your problem. Now go and sort the data by the variable you're sorting on. With the data sorted, we have all the yeses. I'm going to go ahead and click demand here and scroll down, and you only have 100. But you want to go till the yeses stop, or the no rain or rain, whichever one you're doing, and then hold shift and copy it into the yes column. Now, we'll go back to the top. Now you want to go to the no's. And with the no's right here, start with the first no, scroll down all the way, and copy the data down to here with Control C. We held shift when we got to the bottom. Click the first cell and paste with Command V. So now you've got two columns of quantitative data, and you're going to click one and then hold shift and click the other. Now go to Insert, Side-by-Side Box Plots, and now you get the two. And we should be able to add in a legend and all that good stuff under the quick layout. So we should be able to get a legend. I'm going to get a legend. Hey, look at that, yes and no. And it just has a little more info. And we can change down here on the bottom so it can say whatever it wants. We can oh, look at that. We go no and yes. And let's change what this says. Quick layout, axis title, horizontal, primary vertical. I'll delete this one. Don't know why it says one. Really? There we go. Look at that. And we'd say this is high walk up. Yeah, they are. They should be. And I'm going to tell Terry to make sure. Because if you look at this right here, the end product of what we're going to get is going to be virtually identical. Add in your chart title, add chart elements, data labels. Put your data labels so that they're nice and pretty right here. Like so people can see them. Probably want to... They can't be white right there. That's going to be a problem. Oof, that's so bad right there. You can't see that data label. See, now you can't see them there. Choose a different color. Okay, that, I don't like, green's not a good color. So what color can we do? They really kind of, which is that? Grader gets mad and they're like, I can't see your data labels. Okay, there we go. And then we'd want to make these the same color here. Maybe a little one up. Okay, that's good. A little hard. It's very hard to see this guy. I think if you double click it, it does only that one. You have to click it twice. Now if we click all of them, it's going to change it all. Does this make sense right here, Megan? So now you would change this around, you'd make it nice and pretty, and you would have everything described inside of here. I don't know why the chart title is being all weird. There we go. But you just make this nice and neat. And it looks like that one didn't change colors up there. But, oh, that's the wrong thing. Yeah, so you just make sure, you know, they're readable as best you can do. And think about you're presenting this at a meeting and you'd want it to look nice. But I think that's got it. I think we've now done the full thing. Who does? And so many things going on. Undergrad meeting coming up. You're welcome, Megan. And then we just interpret it, and then the AI reflection, and then you're done with this. So I think that's got the full thing. Oh, I'm so tired today. I might go get that coffee now. Well, we've got data analytics done, and if you're stuck on anything in my Pearson, I probably need to get that coffee because I'm just like low energy Brian today. Need to get some high energy. We'll probably go get some coffee. If you have questions, let me know. Good work today. Should have data analytics done now. Turn it in. Make sure the graphics look good. Check the rubric for how you're graded. And if you feel like you were graded wrong, let me know. With that, we'll do our ending right here. Bye from everyone. Bye.
Hey Brian, what's up?
Hey, Adam.
Oh, what's this?
Adam, what are you doing? Adam.
No! Guys, I'm Jason. Brian's gone. I don't know. I don't know. Just go to Kahoot. We'll get this figured out. He sent you the information. It's on Canvas. It's on YouTube. Just go to Kahoot. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to figure this out. It's going to happen. That's all I got. Just go to Kahoot. Thanks. Ugh.